to The Splash Live, a show all about the greater West Bloomfield community. I'm Ronnie Dahl. Thank you so much for waking up with us this morning. You know, season changes can be just the motivator you need to finally get healthy once and for all. We've been talking with fitness trainer and nutrition coach Gayle Taub over the past few weeks about the 3 pillars of health. They include how you move, how you eat, and today we're going to be talking about how you think. And with us this morning is Coach Gayle. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning, Ronnie. Nice to be here.
You know, I almost think this pillar is one of the most important ones.
Yeah, it does drive our ability to start something and continue it or not.
And
yeah, it's a big one.
How do we switch how we think?
So the first thing is to notice. I always talk about the idea of just being aware and not basing your decisions or your ideas or your conclusions on what other people are saying or thinking, but really taking a minute to notice yourself. So how often do you think positively about yourself? How often are you unkind to yourself? Gosh, I wish I was, or I need to be, or gosh, why can't I just do what I need to do? What's the matter with me? Everybody else is doing it when they're not. But really, it's a matter of kind of taking a moment and noticing how you talk to yourself is probably a good first step.
You think back on that because how many thoughts do we have a day? And sometimes the things we say about ourselves, we would never imagine saying that about someone else because it would be so unkind.
And also, we pretend to know. We automatically believe that what somebody else is doing based on what they say or how they look is working for them, when it may or may not be something that works for you. So we make up all of these things in our minds, and at the same time, we're pretty negative when it comes to ourselves, oftentimes. On the flip side, Ronnie, there's also the people that are a little overconfident, who also pretend, tell themselves that you're doing everything right. Yet when they look in the mirror or they get on the scale or put the clothes on or get into bed at night and notice how they're feeling, it isn't what they need to be. And, you know, that's just a defense mechanism. That's called fear, right? That's what we do. That's the human brain. This isn't a you or me thing. This is a human thing. And when we're afraid of accepting or noticing or doing things that serve us well, we put that defense up because we're afraid of something, maybe of failing, maybe of trying and not succeeding, maybe of not knowing. So those are all really big components of the way we talk to ourselves and how important it is.
You mentioned when we put our clothes on, because I think about the different season changes, and there's nothing more than a motivator when you go to put on your summer clothes from last year. Yeah. And they don't fit like year after year. So do you see kind of an increase in clients during this time?
I see an increase for sure, but it is brief. I will tell you that people quickly, when they are done talking poorly to themselves, they put the clothes on. You know, we have less clothes, right? They're shorter, they're smaller, they're more skin showing. I'm going to do something about it. Sound familiar? Oh. About in November and December when we say, just when January starts, we're going to do something about it. So oftentimes it's very brief. We then accept the way that we are because we're afraid to take a step forward.
And how do we go from that thought process, right? Like, I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to start tomorrow. And then you think you're going to do it, and tomorrow comes, and maybe there's that one trigger, and you go back into your old habits.
That is an amazing question, because oftentimes what we do, again, as people, is we jump all the way to where we want to be at the end of our story, right? I want to start tomorrow to lose 50 pounds. I want to start tomorrow and change everything. How about I want to start tomorrow and have a little less cream in my coffee? Or I want to start tomorrow and walk a few more steps, or I want to start tomorrow and have a better snack or a little less snacking. So again, you'll hear me say this a lot. When you choose, I'm so sorry, I'm a little congested. I have a cold.
No, and this time of year too, like for me, it's the allergies, and you're like, no, 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 it's really allergies.
No, it's a cold. I'm having a hard time catching my breath. But anyways, so really starting small, Ronnie, is a really good way, and it's a difficult thing to do because we want immediate gratification. We want to believe that we have a silver bullet or something, a diet, a program, an approach, somebody's advice that's going to change everything for us, when really that is not the way that it works. You didn't get to the place where you are today overnight. It's been over the course of time. It took time to gain the extra weight or to have the habits that you do that need the improvement. So it only makes sense that it takes time, one step at a time, to adjust those habits or to make those changes. So I guess in answer to your question, maybe pull back. It isn't 50 pounds you want to lose, it's 1. You can't lose 50 until you lose 1. So if you start small, there's a much better chance that it's less intimidating and it's more doable. And guess what? If you choose what that change is going to be, you have a much better chance of making it happen for yourself as opposed to just doing what someone else tells you to do.
I like that thought process because, yeah, 50 pounds can be so overwhelming. But you look at social media and people go on and they join these Facebook groups and they see people that, you know, make these amazing transformations. And they think, oh, that can be me. But like you said, because of our society today, we want it now.
We want it now. And we're not patient, and we don't recognize that it takes effort and time and understanding and focus on ourselves to do what's right. The only way that new habits are going to stick is if you create them yourself. If you do something that someone else says, it may stick for a little while, but something's going to trigger you back into your old world. And it's that kind of approach that most people haven't really tried, to find a coach, to find a professional, to help them work through those kinds of ideas so that they can find and be successful, the things that they need to change and how to approach it.
And because this can be a process over time, if you make those little changes and you don't see the results right away, how do you motivate your clients to keep going, to know that there is a reward at the end?
Great question as well, because that does happen sometimes. Some of the other changes that happen health and wellness wise may not reflect on the scale, but they are, you may have heard terms like non-scale victories and non-scale this and that, which, you know, are really valid. So to know that the changes that you're making may not be enough to lose a pound yet, but are serving you in other ways, and more importantly, giving you successes under your belt, so that you can build on those successes. So, you know, you can also look back to say, you know, what have I tried before and how has it worked for me or not? Repeat the things that work, not the things that work temporarily, the things that work the long term. We've all lost some weight at some point, and we've all gained some weight at some point. It's human nature. But what got you to the place where you lost the weight? Now, if the answer to that question is, I lost it quickly because I did this type of program and it works, I would question that. I would question, did it work? I don't know. You're starting, you gain the weight back. Did it really work? Scientifically, these programs are going to work. There is a scientific way that the body is going to lose weight. But what works for you is going to be long term. Not many people do I run into saying, I wanted to lose 10 pounds, but only for 2 months, and then I wanted to gain it back. Not a lot of people say that. So I would question if something really truly worked and what it means to you. Did it work or not? All good things to think about. But back to the mindset thing, the positivity. I help people see what they have accomplished. They don't even recognize it. They don't give themselves credit for 2 pounds or better sleep or better results for their biometrics or more energy when they're in the gym. They only see the scale. So giving them that view of a well-rounded kind of, you know, approach and what they are doing that is working is really quite helpful. People don't recognize it.
And you know why? That's why someone such as yourself, you're so important on this journey, because I think for a lot of us, we think we can do it alone. But you need to go ahead and invest in yourself. If you've tried all the diets and the lifestyle and the, if it's keto this week or the, intermittent fasting next week, it's really about a lifestyle change. And that's where someone such as yourself comes into play, because accountability, like an accountability partner, is important too.
Without a doubt. Having somebody who is non-judgmental, who does not have a stake in the game as far as what I think. This is not about what I think. It is about listening and helping you to understand what's good for you. And that's where I am trained to help you understand and see those qualities. You're doing some things well. There's no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind that while we have things to clean up and there's things that we need to change, that's where it gets a little confusing. But what is even more important oftentimes is the fact that we just discard all of the small wonders that we do for ourselves. And those stacked up are just as important as changing your eating habits, right? So the way you think and the kindness that you give yourself, really, really important, and can help drive you in a positive way forward.
Coach Gayle, you have such good advice. Again, it's the 3 pillars of health: how you move, how you eat, how you think. The other 2 segments are on demand at civiccentertv.com. And Coach Gayle, how could people contact you as well?
So you can call me or text me at 248-885-1400. Or you can log on to and check out my website at coachgayle.com. You can message me through there, check it out. I'm also on Instagram, and that is Gazelle Health with 2 H's at the end. Gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
I'm with you on that. I've had to try to create those social media posts. It's been so great talking to you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks,
and it's an extended weekend, so we hope you enjoy your time as well.
You do the same. Be safe and be healthy.
You too. Such great advice. Again, check out her other segments as well. It really is about us, and I think this was one of the most important today, is the mindset. Hey, we also want to remind you, if you know someone making a difference in our community, we want to know, show you gratitude. You can scan the QR code right there on the screen, fill out the Google form with the person's contact info and why you think they should be recognized. It could be a person, a business, an organization, and you can also find the form by going to civiccentertv.com. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Happening around town, plans are being finalized right now for area Memorial Day ceremonies. Kegel Harbor, the parade is going to be getting underway at 10 a.m. A different route than years past, so take note, it's going to be running along Cass Lake Road instead of Orchard Lake. Side streets between Orchard Lake and Otter Avenue will be closed. Volunteers, by the way, are still needed to help with barricades along some of those side streets. And after a 2-year hiatus due to the COVID crisis, the parade returns to the prettiest little city in Sylvan Lake. The parade in Sylvan Lake is going to be starting at 11:30 a.m. at City Hall. It ends at Memorial Park with a ceremony to honor our veterans. Kids who wish to ride their bikes in the parade, you are asked to meet at City Hall starting at 11 a.m. Decorate your parades. But before we get to the parades and the ceremonies, it's the thrill of the hunt for the bargain shoppers. Starting Thursday, it's the annual citywide garage sales happening in Sylvan Lake and Keego Harbor. Sylvan Lakes runs Thursday to Saturday. It's sponsored by the Sylvan Lake Home and Garden Tour. You do need a permit, by the way, which you can get at City Hall. Garage sales in Keego will run through Sunday. You're watching The Splash Live, your local channel sharing stories from West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake. Catch the show live Monday through Friday starting at 9:30 a.m. and on demand at civiccentertv.com. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Welcome back. If you're an active person, chances are you may need to see a physical therapist at some point. And to talk more, Health Quest physical therapy owner and director Michael Pizzimenti joins us. I always get your name wrong.
It's all right. It's a long one.
You know why? It's the, I think pizza at the beginning. I'm all about pizza.
I don't know who isn't.
How are you, friend? I haven't talked to you in quite some time. I hope things are well.
Yeah, things are really, really well. Just doing a little childcare right now and a little bit of work. So kind of being productive and playing dad all at the same time.
You know what? It's great that you can do that. If your child, how old? Who is it?
Oh, she's one.
Oh, we want to see her. Hi. Oh my God, she's so adorable. What's her name?
Ava.
Hi. Oh my gosh, you're so cute. Is this her first TV appearance?
This might be her first TV appearance. Can you wave hi?
Hi. Well, it won't be her last, I'm certain. You know what? That is so perfect, though, because we all have to juggle multiple balls at the exact same time. And I'm looking at you with your daughter, but there are so many guys and even moms that want to be weekend warriors in the summertime. I'm thinking of so many of these like mud runs and things coming up.
Right.
Do you see an increase in the summertime of people that need to come in and see you?
Yeah, usually around spring and summer we see a decent influx. It could be from athletes that want to get into their summer training program for their upcoming fall sports or summer sports. We see a lot of people that have been relatively inactive over the winter. And, you know, they go out and they do yard work for the first, 2 hours or something. And then all of a sudden their knees or their back, after months of inactivity, we do see a lot of people kind of coming on in for, running triage almost on some achy body parts.
Because too, I'm thinking about, they're told over and over, you have to ease into it. And I'm watching my husband right now, right? His golf league started up. And I keep trying to say to him, hey, baby, why don't you start by taking, some yoga classes starting in like February, March, get your body moving. Nope. Nope. And then guess what? He's like, oh, ouch, ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, we do. Actually have a lot of people around the area. February and March, they'll actually come on in. They've been seeing me and my team annually now. They'll come on in preemptively. Whether there's a little ache or pain or not, they'll just get their body prepped up for tennis or golf or something. And, it's whether it's hip, mid-back, mobility, some core strengthening, whatever it is, just to get their body ready for, a fun season. Nobody wants to start the season off with high aspirations and then, it be cut short or they have to modify things because they're hurting.
Right. So I tried to, Michael, I tried to tell my husband, I'm sure Tiger Woods sees a physical therapist, right?
I think he has one on his team, actually. Yeah, I think he has one that follows him around.
Oh, my goodness. So with that, when should someone see a physical therapist? Does it need to be a referral through a doctor?
So we have a couple different ways. For referral for a doctor, we can go through insurance in the state of Michigan. You need a prescription to run through insurance. Otherwise, we do have cash-based options. The cash-based options, we can kind of, run them through without insurance, and it can be anywhere from mobility issue to, power production issue, maybe in the gym, or maybe they just want to be able to run longer on the weekends or some recreational activity. And then obviously we're dealing with our, degenerative arthritic changes and then sports injuries as well. So they don't necessarily need a prescription.
You just got like major cool points by having your daughter on the show.
She's rolling, as long as she has her animal crackers, she's pretty good.
So with that, student athletes, do you see a lot of student athletes as well?
A ton. Yeah, I work really, really closely with West Bloomfield High School and Orchard Lake St. Mary. They're just, about, West Bloomfield is a stone's throw away just south of my clinic. And then St. Mary's is a 5-minute drive north on Orchard Lake Road.
I think this is so important for parents to understand because some of the students, when they're younger, they think, their body's going to last forever. They're not thinking long term. I mean, you're, 15, 16, 17. You're not thinking about when you're 50, 60, and 70, what you do today and how it can impact you long term. So what advice do you have to parents that are putting their kids into sports, because sports is very important?
Oh, a ton. Yeah, we're building a foundation, I tell them. That's all we're doing. And we have to understand, as long as there's education piece of it, where there's, rest cycles, periodization, as long as we're following the right things and building a good foundation, we're really reducing the risk of any kind of injury to these kids. So I think it's very, very important at a young age to understand that. So we do a ton of education first. I never, even with the older crowd that want to stay active, it's education and how to get you to stay active and do the right thing so you don't put yourself out.
Well, I love it because it's really, do you want to share your story about you were an athlete and that kind of led you into your journey as a business person?
Yeah, so that actually got me into physical therapy. A couple athletic injuries and my own experience with PT. One of them was a pretty catastrophic injury, and being able to go through PT and then get back to playing multiple sports, at a relatively high level, really showed me like this is actually pretty cool. And there was a personal training aspect to physical therapy. It wasn't like your typical, boring lay on the bed and it's all passive. I was very active in it. That's the kind of practice I've set up in West Bloomfield here. It's very active, participant for the actual patient themselves, and that we treat it from a personal training standpoint with understanding pathology and how that works as well. So I mean, I have the older population doing fairly active things at the clinic, and they like that. They don't want to feel old. Nobody wants to feel old.
If you can find the fountain of youth, that will be a gold mine, right? But
I'll have a line down to 696 or further.
Right. But with that too, though, how much of this is mental as well?
I think a lot of the people, when you're younger, you can get away with a lot of things, and things aren't a problem until they're a problem. And as you age, things start to add up. And there's a certain amount of fear with that. Am I going to be able to do the things I used to be able to do? So there can be mental and psychological barriers. And, honestly, we probably do half and half, physical therapy and psychological therapy. But coming from my past as a personal trainer, a lot of this was motivating somebody in the right way. And there's different triggers for everybody. So you have to find that thing that lights somebody on fire in a good way and kind of reinvigorates them to believe that their bodies are capable of doing things, that we're not all made out of porcelain. And then finding the right program to do so. And everybody has a different program, and that's something we do too, is through the evaluation, is kind of customize that kind of program to help somebody feel empowered. I want you to feel better when you leave my office, but then I want you to have the tools necessary where you know that you can actually be independent and carry on a healthy, active lifestyle where you feel good and positive about everything and not living in that fearful state where if I do this, I'm going to be in pain.
It's such a good point. And I know for me, like years ago, I had what they call like a frozen shoulder. And, you know, one doctor said, oh, you're going to have surgery. Physical therapy can save you from surgery, though.
A ton. Yeah, we see a lot of that. I mean, even when there's image confirmed things like torn meniscus and torn rotator cuff, and you hear these things, bulging discs in the back, and you hear all these things, and then it kind of paints a picture of doom and gloom. There's a lot of times where we can get somebody to reestablish good biomechanics, move way better, reduce the inflammation, and get back to normal life, where these people are going right back to doing what they were doing with these pathologies that are image confirmed. So imaging is a great place in diagnostics, but it doesn't necessarily say, hey, the image shows this, so I must feel this, and I must be limited to doing these things. So we see a ton of that.
And of course, if people need a physical therapist or they just want to talk more, how can they contact you or someone on your team?
So they can call the office in West Bloomfield, 248-788-6100. We do offer free consultations. So if you're sitting at home right now thinking, hey, listen, I know there's this thing that's really, really bugging me. My balance is really decreasing. I'm feeling weak. I'm not moving the way I want to move and live the way I want to live. You don't need to see a doctor. You don't need to see anybody. You can come to us, schedule a consultation. Myself or one of my team members will take a look at you, and we'll be able to say, hey, this is what I think's going on. These are the things that I saw. And this is kind of the program that we would eventually set up, and see if physical therapy is the right thing for you. So if you're sitting there questioning something, no obligation whatsoever. We do a 30-minute consultation where you kind of come on and talk to us one-on-one. And at that point, if there's something beneficial and you buy into what we're kind of saying, and we say, you know what, this actually could be a really, really good thing for me. At that point, then we can move forward with either the cash options or grabbing a prescription from a doctor and then starting official formal physical therapy.
Well, we so appreciate your time. Before we say goodbye, where's your daughter? Let her wave goodbye. Or is she crawling and eating her animal crackers, which, by the way, you never grow out of? Bye! See you later.
Say bye.
They grow up so fast. Thank you so much.
There we go. Bye-bye.
See you, look at her. Bye! Oh,
well, thanks for having me.
We appreciate it.
You bet. I'll see you.
That's going to do it for today's edition of The Splash Live. I want to say thank you to our guest today for taking time to be with us, and our Zoom producer, as well as Calvin Brown, our board operator, for getting us on the show today, on the air today. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a happy day. We'll see you tomorrow morning.